Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is BestInSlot and welcome to our final paddock build in our Jurassic World Evolution Jurassic Park remake. In today's video we're going to work on the Dilophosaurus paddock. It is the last one remaining. It is our second Dilophosaurus paddock, but this one is going to have actual Dilophosaurs in, so that's fun for the whole family. Now, the first thing we need to address... Oh, actually, before I carry on at all, I should say this is not the final build episode. Obviously, this needs changing completely. This needs forest and hills. We need to fix the visitor centre, make sure that's okay. We need to add the maintenance shed. We need to add the raptor pen. We need to do the docks, blah, 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 blah. We're going to do all that in the next episode. I just want to get the actual dinosaur paddocks nicely finished in today's video. So, first thing we need to do is actually pop out a couple of Triceratops, because as people correctly mentioned, and I was basing it a little bit too much in the film, there are actually 3 Triceratopses in the park. So, we'll, where's our trike at? Our trike is over there somewhere, having a lovely time in the river. How you doing, buddy? Feeling good? Feeling good with your... I can't remember what they're called. Nodules. Now, speaking of not remembering what things are called, I mentioned a path. This path right here in the last video. Now, lots of people said game trail, and I'm afraid the word I was looking for, as said by... I can't remember. Oh, I had a comment. Someone told me the answer in the comments, and I looked at your name and I thought, I'm going to remember that name, and I'm going to mention it in the video, but then I forgot. It's actually called a desire path. If it's a game trail, that's one that animals use, you know, because they're... Well, it's a trail for game animals. If it's humans... That basically, if there's no path there and people walk it so often in that direction that a path is made in the ground, it's called a desire path because, you know, it's made through desire rather than construction, essentially. They are different things. Let's pop out some trikes. And then it's Dilophosaurus time. One of the... Actually, along with the Triceratops, excuse me, although definitely less so, one of the more... lacking in love dinosaurs in the franchise. Dilophosaurus is iconic to Jurassic Park and Jurassic World as a franchise. We'll call it the Jurassic franchise, but it hasn't been in since the original film. We had the statues of it in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. We had the hologram in Jurassic World. We actually had a little sound effect from it as well in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. But we haven't seen a real Dilophosaurus in a very long time. It was going to be in Fallen Kingdom. We saw the animatronic for it. Or the maquette, or at least before the film came out, like in the pre-production stuff, but it just never, it got cut from the final film, essentially, which is a big old shame. I think most of us are big fans of the Dilophosaurus. It's, you know, it's iconic, it's one of these most beloved creatures, and yet it's not been in the films for like 30 years now or something ridiculous, which is a little bizarre when you think about it. Partially from my perspective, one of the reasons that's the case, and is the case for a lot of dinosaurs, is because, well, maybe just because the Rex and the Raptors have gained vastly more screen time than they ever used to have in the past, and the humans even probably get more screen time than they used to in the past, or at least they're more of the focus than they were in the past. So that means dinosaurs like the Dilophosaurus maybe don't get the love and attention that they obviously deserve. Anyways. Boop. Boop. Coincidentally, there were 5 Dilophosauruses. I've read conflicting reports. Some people say 7, some people say 5, but the DPG confirmed that at least 5... I don't like using the DPG. Like, I don't want to rag on the DPG, because at the end of the day, these people were given this amazing job and opportunity to, you know, to work on Jurassic Park canon. I think that's amazing, but I also think hiring fans to do your canon is utterly ridiculous. So I'm really in two minds. Like, I think it was a terrible direction from the developers, but in terms of the actual DPG themselves, you know, it's a lifetime dream. It'd be amazing to do, so I can't blame them at all. I'm wondering... Anyways, the point is they said that there was 5 Dilophosauruses alive, and I know there were at least 5 in the original park. We're going to go with 5. Some people will say 7, some people will say 5. I think 5's the more accepted response. The one thing I'm considering is changing up the colour, because I don't like the colour of the default evolution Dilophosaurus. I mean, it looks fine, don't get me wrong, but the problem is, of course, that it's too... it's not green enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop out a couple more, a taiga and a wetland, and I just want to take a look at them. I want to see if they are a slightly more appropriate colour. I'm going to get what I'm going to do as well. On my other screen, I'll bring across the image, is... get an image of the actual original maquette, statue, whatever, for... Yeah, it is, it's very green. I'm going to show you. I'm going to bring this across. There you go. It's I think it's greener than Evolution's version. I don't think it's super green, but it's definitely greener than Evolution's. Yeah? Yeah. Looks so cool there. Right, so we're gonna try for a slightly green one. Oh god, it's taking ages. I should have done my speedy ones. Oh well, we can work on the actual enclosure itself then. Now, I don't really have any big ideas for this one. We've kind of already done a Dilophosaurus enclosure. I did do a little research on this. It's fun that Dilophosaurus is first. I couldn't find a single reference to what this enclosure would look like, the actual enclosure itself. There's some stuff mentioned about where it would be located according to the film, you know, near the East Dock, for example. That's why when they break out, they end up near Dennis Nedry and his journey to the East Docks. Between a mountain, it is mentioned that the river tour, the Cretaceous cruise, used to go through the Dilophosaurus exhibit, and they had to cut that part of the cruise out because the Dilophosaurus kept spitting at the boats, basically. So I think it'd be cool to bring a river in, or maybe make this one go through the enclosure. And we'll say that it used to be part of the tour, essentially, and they had to cut that part out just because of what I just said, basically. So I'm going to go through like that. Now, I'd love to connect this to another river. That might be optimistic. If we just make it kind of... Okay, yeah, we're going to add a little river, because it makes sense. It would have to be connected somewhere, right? And the idea is they would then take an alternate route instead. But if the river went nowhere, then the tour wouldn't actually be able to go through there. I think that's what we're going to base this on. I was going to base it on the Dennis Nedry scene, but at the end of the day, that's just a hill anyway, so we can kind of do that. I think it makes sense to have... I'm just picturing it in my head, what it would look like. I can see, like... the river, the cruise going along there, and then the Dilophosaurus kind of on the banks of the river. You can't really do a bank, that's about as close as you can get. But Dilophosaurus gathering on the banks of the river, hiding in the forest line, going pia pia pia, yeah, you know, with my very accurate sound effects. Thank you. And that's what you all just said instantly. Wow, BestInSlot, those were amazing. Yeah, well, I mean, we're gonna work on that. How are we doing over here? Not bad. Last dinosaurs, can't believe it. We don't need raptors for the raptor pen. It'd be cool if you could put raptors, kind of like we did in the campaign, if you could put raptors into the raptor pen. That would be very cool, but then again, what would it achieve? Although, maybe, because we've got this little thing over here. Where is it? Yeah, it'd be really cool if, alright, it was just kind of sitting there, but if you added raptors, then every now and again the feeder would come across, and maybe there's like rustling in the grass in the tree line. That would be awesome. But I can see why, you know, that's a lot of work for somewhat little reward, so I can see why they didn't do that. That's fair enough. It's interesting. I did a video on the Dilophosaurus a while back, trying to use the evidence available to suggest that the Dilophosaurus in Jurassic Park was not a juvenile. I thought the evidence suggested it wasn't a juvenile. I since saw, as in earlier today, the behind-the-scenes video from the original Jurassic Park where Stan Winston's talking to Spielberg and someone else I can't quite remember, and he flat out says that the Dilophosaurus is a juvenile. So, like, all my evidence counts for nothing. The Dilophosaurus is definitely a juvenile. At the end of the day, I think we have to take the people who build these things, I think we have to take their word for it over essentially everything else. My problem with these dilos, now, I think the colour on this one is better. I think that's closer to what I want. The problem is the crest. The frill is perfect in Jurassic World Evolution. It is exactly the colour it should be. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. It's just the body colour that's the problem. But the others, the alternate colours, they change the frill colour a lot, which makes a lot of sense. Of course they do. But it does mean that I think the original is probably still our best bet, unfortunately. I would have liked to see it changed up in Return to Jurassic Park, but it's definitely closer to the original than, say, the Triceratops was. Every now and again I'll say, because of course it was. You'll hear me say it like several times in this video. There's this perspective of me that I complain all the time, and I don't like it. I'm a very optimistic and happy person. So now I feel like I have to justify what I'm saying. You know, like, I've commented a lot in this series about the oddities of Jurassic Park, I think, and its layout and its internal inconsistencies and stuff like that. That's not me trying to rag on the film or anything. I like talking about Jurassic Park. It's a fascinating film with lots of weird things going on and lots of weird little, you know, stories that can be told about it. And I find it really interesting. And it's kind of part and parcel of filmmaking at the end of the day. You know, Spielberg himself said he wanted this big exciting scene, and the realism of it, if we're talking about the T-Rex, just didn't really matter. Speaking of interesting stuff, the Dilophosaurus itself actually was funny. Spielberg said he was expecting the Dilophosaurus to be like the easiest animatronic to handle in the film. You know, it wasn't in a big scene. It was very sort of stagnant. You don't see the Dilophosaurus actually like run around or anything like that. It wasn't as climactic as the Rex. Blah blah blah. He thought it was going to be a very easy scene, but because there's so much water in that scene. It was a disaster. It really was. It was an utter disaster. One of the guys who was, I think it was the guy manning the Dilophosaurus puppet. Part of it was radio controlled, but part of it was done actually by hand. He was kind of standing in a ditch by the Dilophosaurus, and because the rain was so torrential and because there was so much water coming down from the hill, obviously with the Dennis Nedry effect. Well, obviously there's a lot of water coming down the hill because we see the shaving cream can sort of tumble down this hill covered in water and mud and blah 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 blah. By the end of filming, the water was up to like his height, like the top part of his chest, basically, and they just managed to get the filming done before he was going to end up like not being able to film at all because he would have drowned. They had like he couldn't see what was going on anymore. He couldn't hear anyone else because the rain and the noise was so bad that he had like a little monitor stacked on some Snapple boxes. Snapple being like an iced tea sort of drink. There's just lots of filmmaking is definitely still like that to an extent. There's a lot that goes on in terms of finagling things together, even with modern technology. You know, there's a lot of look at how a film like say 1917 has been filmed and stuff like that. There's always going to be a lot of weirdness going on, but I do think the days of that kind of stuff is definitely lower than it used to be. You know, technology really does help with that kind of thing. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. It takes a lot of pressure off and it makes filmmaking easier, but it does make it slightly less inventive and creative as well, so it's kind of a mixed bag. I just like the idea of this being the Rivetor. I'm kind of tempted to put something here to kind of signify it, but I don't know what that would look like. I don't know. Let's pop out some Dilos. It's still one of my favourite dinosaurs in the entire franchise. It needs some love. I'm really hoping it makes its way into the third film, because in the embryo case that we see stolen and... well, not stolen. Stolen? I haven't seen Fallen Kingdom in so long. I actually do not remember. I just want to get a look at this thing. It's not green enough. That is really the only... Some people have a problem with the face, and I can see that as well. I think it's got a similar problem to what the raptor had, in that maybe the jawline's too straight. It doesn't... and it's not... the snout isn't long enough, so it lacks that kind of very dangerous look to it. You know, it's the same with the raptors. The raptors kind of looks like the jaw's been elongated and the shape of the jaws, the snout's been elongated, I should say, and the jaw shape has been changed, and it makes the raptors look really cool and really threatening. I think the Dilo lacks that, and it kind of has that slight puppified effect that I think the Jurassic World Evolution raptors had as well, and the Jurassic World raptors have even more. And it's not green enough in the body. It's too brown. Other than that, yeah, it is what it is. No point going on about that. I think we all know that by now. Love. Chop chop. Right, let's shoot these in the face. So yeah, I was going to base this on Nedry, but I think we're good. We might do it semi-based on Nedry. I'm just thinking of the scene where, obviously, it's the only scene where we see the Dilophosaurus, so it'd be cool to integrate it somehow into the park. But maybe what we can do... just having a little think. If we get rid of these trees at the back... I'm not sure we've got enough room to do this, but I'm thinking this isn't a bad little shape. What we could do is raise this up and kind of make this into the bit from the film. You know, that would be the hill where... it's not really meant to be a direct representation. At the end of the day, we don't know what the inside of this paddock looks like. When we see the Dilophosaurus in the film, obviously it's not inside the paddock. The paddock's nearby, but it's not inside the paddock. I think just as like a little nod to the enclosure, we'll do something like this, and what we'll do is we'll get our dirty tool, and we'll make the bottom especially very, very dirty, because obviously we see the... what's the shaving foam called? I have the can somewhere, I can't remember what it's... oh no, I don't. You may have seen my video a couple of years ago. Barbasol. You see the Barbasol cans tumble down the hill, like over on this side, sort of, because obviously the car sits here. Nedry gets in, boop, gets knocked. He falls, like lands here, and the can rolls out. So it should be more on the right hand side. So we're around there somewhere. I don't know if I can make this any more dirty somehow. Let me have a little think. I mean, maybe a little bit of rock, just a little bit of it, just to, because what I want is it to seem darker and muddier, really. Like I said, this isn't meant to be we're not trying to build the scene from the film, we're just giving it a little nod, essentially. So that'll be the hill that Dennis Nedry falls down. And what I'm going to do, I had a little thought, because obviously there's no river here in the film. What I do want is the river there. Bloody Nora. So what I'll do instead, though, because again we don't see this, we can do whatever we want. I'm going to put like a little water blockade here, and we'll say that the workers, when they realised we had to, you know, the river tour was going to close down, they brought in some rocks just to stop their version of like a closed sign, you know. They just, shut up. I'm working on YouTube. They, you know, just put some stuff in just to stymie the flow of the river, and that did that. And we'll put in, kind of do like a weird fusion of a few different things here, but it's going to look, I just wanted it to look interesting. When we've got these opportunities to build whatever we want, we may as well make the exhibits look a little bit more interesting, I think. So I want that to look more like a riverbed if possible. Also not too much. This is where it gets complicated, because it should also look like the scene from the film. I'm going to flatten that in. I mean, it's interesting, right? It looks different. At the very least, it's different than everything else. If you can't be good, be interesting, you know? And we've got water for our dinosaurs. Right. Oh yeah, another idea someone had. Again, I can't remember your name, I'm sorry. Really cool little idea, or clever idea anyway, is to bring in some feces for our Triceratopses. So, maybe some of the smaller ones, probably that one. The trike would lie there. Do we ever see where the feces is in relation to the Triceratops? I'm just going to put this in for now. Because I know it's not right next to it. I know, as far as I remember, in the scene where they're actually faffing around and stuff, you don't see the trike itself, maybe you see it in the distance. I'm just going to put some there. And we're going to put another in, because I know there's at least 2 off the top of my head. I haven't done research on this, because I only just remembered. We'll do that for now. Dinosaur poop. Dinosaur droppings. There's one big pile of shit. Anyways, so we got that. I'm allowed to say that a quote, okay? I know, family-friendly YouTube, copper, all that nonsense. Although I'm not marked as family. Actually, I'm not marked as family-friendly. I can do whatever I want. Right, where's our dilos? I don't know. Copper hasn't been the big deal people blew it up to be, because it was never going to be. It just literally never was. For me, anyway. For people who do child-friendly YouTube, but I imagine there's some problems going on there. I don't know. Because for those who don't know, you have to... Basically, everyone on YouTube had to mark their videos, all of them. You can do it individually, but you can do it on a channel-wide basis, which I imagine is what most people did, as either child-friendly or not. And if you mark them as child-friendly, then you... comments get disabled automatically on your video, and you get much less in the way of adverts, because it can only be child-friendly advertisers. The converse of that, of course, is that now if your videos aren't marked as child-friendly, then every single child-friendly account out there, every kid who's got an account made by their parents, stuff like that, you know, my nephew, I'm sure, has a child-friendly account, will no longer see your videos, or those specific videos, suggested or linked and stuff like that. So, yeah. It's not been the end of the world, but it's not good either.
Assets in the air.
But yeah, I mean, people were talking about, you know, shutting down channels and stuff like that. It was vastly overblown, but doesn't make it a good thing either. I don't know how... See, we've already got a very foresty Dilophosaurus exhibit. I do want by the water, though, for it to be very... I just like the idea of you're going along. You were at some point going along a cruise here. You imagine that. Imagine that. Yeah. Imagine that. And you know, there's just this dense forest line, and you just hear a little chirp that the Dilo does, and then this like spit just flies out and hits your boat or something. I think that's a pretty cool visual image. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna bring in Cheeky Rock, because why not? Maybe a standalone tree. I do want to thank you guys. I keep getting suggestions and ideas and stuff like that. A lot of people have suggested things from the book. I just want to reaffirm we're not really doing book stuff just because we're already using like 4 different sources, and I think if we keep doing it, we're going to end up, it's going to be too much. Now, I do want a tree at the bottom of this hill, because that's the hill. This is where Dennis Nedry would be. It's not really, but again, trying to do a thing. This is where Dennis Nedry would be. Tumbles down the hill, but initially when he gets here, he walks down the hill, walks forward, and then there's like a tree line here. Now, I don't think I'm going to put the tree line there because I want you to be able to see into the actual exhibit and see the dinosaurs. But he, of course, wraps the winch for the car around a tree. So, oh, there's the tree. That doesn't look that weird. Let's give them a feeder. I can put goats back on, can't I? Yeah, I think I'll just do normal though. Maybe a couple of trees around. No, yeah. Okay, I won't go crazy. That's still plenty open. I'm pretty happy with that. I am considering putting in a. It's a bit nonsense. I kind of want to put an East Dock sign in, just hidden somewhere. You know, it's like a little Easter egg kind of thing. I'll have a think about that. We've got our Trikes in. We've got our 5 Dilophosauruses in. We're basically done with the paddocks. I don't think there's anything else I want to change across all of them. It's looking pretty good. Now, of course, there's still a lot to do. Like I said, we need to do the docks. I need to have a little think about that. The docks are going to be around here. I also want to bring in an East Dock sign, but I also want to give it a bit more of a dock feeling. I want it to look at least a little bit like an actual dock, which at the moment it doesn't. It just looks like a big blob of water. I'm not sure how we're going to do that. I think a plan, or at least a good one, we can straighten the water's edge. If we put a path along there. Do we ever see... We see the docks in the film, but very, very briefly. We see on the video monitor, we see the guy standing by the boat. We don't really see what the actual docks looks like. So we can, in theory, do whatever we want. I wonder if it's referenced in the book. We're only using the book when there's nothing else. You know, if we can bring in a book reference, we will, but not if it conflicts with something else. I'm thinking just bring in some lines across there. We can fill this in with concrete by using the path tool. You can do it. You can do it so it's completely filled 100%. So maybe we do like a slab of concrete there. Maybe we bring in a building. Are any of them... Maybe just like a storm defense station, just... You know, it could kind of be like a watchtower kind of thing for the dock area, or like a maintenance place, like a administrative place, stuff like that. So you got that sitting there, then you got loads of concrete there, and then maybe like a little pier looking thing if we use the cheap path or the fancy... We'll use this one for the concrete. But maybe if we use the cheap path, because that looks... It kind of looks like... I can't remember what it's called. MDF. It's like wood board made of like wood chips. But maybe we could have that extending out into the water, kind of like an actual pier, you know? Not sure what else we do. Lights and stuff like that. I want to bring lights in a little bit, but I'm not really sure where. People have suggested maybe by the, you know, like maybe there around the... What are these called again? No. What are they called? Service roads. Maybe around the service roads. That might be a good idea. I'm not sure. We'll have a little think about that. If you've got any ideas, let me know. Just ways to decorate the park itself a little bit. You know, making the park itself a little bit more interesting to look at. I'm going to bring some trees. There's our big old mountain. Looking sexy. Right, so where's our... No, okay, so for example, we're going to leave this bit just because this is all getting deleted. We need to bring in the maintenance shed. We need to bring in the raptor pen. So this bit's all going to change. That path doesn't actually reach anymore. Where are you? There you are, cheeky. That's our... I like this. I like using the concrete outside of the exhibits and then the dirt inside the exhibits. That was a good idea, YouTube. I'm very proud of you. I sound joking, but I promise I'm being serious. I just kind of want to bring in trees everywhere. It's pretty much done. Right, yeah. We're going to make this a short episode. Oh, we should hang out with our dilos then. It's short already. Where are we? There we are. That's our alpha. Oh. Oh. Da, 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 da. I still love that chirp noise. It's one of my favourite. I'd like to know what everyone's favourite noise in Jurassic Park is. Some of the dinosaurs have very iconic noises. The raptors have several, I'd say. My favourite... I wonder what my favourite raptor noise is. Tell you what, because we're just chilling, watching some dinosaurs. We're gonna do some. I always watch like there's a couple of Twitch streamers I watch, Dota streamers mainly. I'm big on Dota, and during breaks or when waiting for games, I like watch random videos on YouTube. Now I don't want to just watch random videos on YouTube, but because I don't really stream at the moment, I'd like to kind of bring that chill, fun, communal element a little bit into a video every now and again. Is that daft? I don't know, but we're gonna do it anyway. So, I've googled raptor noises. I'm gonna watch this, and we can. Okay, this is longer than I thought it would be. I don't know. Oh, this one is one of the better ones, though. Okay, that didn't take long. That right there, I think, is my favourite raptor noise. Should we just watch this? Is that nuts? Should we just do it? Let's just do it. Who cares? Well, no, copyright! Okay, now stop. I've got to stop. I'll have a think about whether we can do that in the future. I'd like to know whether you guys would be into that kind of thing, though. You know, just... I don't know, my videos are always casual anyway, I'm just so lazy, but that noise is up there for me. But the Dilophosaurus chirp is definitely there as well. I would say only the Dilo and the Raptor really make iconic noises. The Spino roar is definitely up there, and also maybe the call of the Brachiosaurus, and of course the Rex roar is as well. Okay, there's quite a few. Mainly the carnivores. I think the Brachie may be the only herbivore, but again, as the Rex and Raptor have become more and more important, I think the herbivores have become even more sidelined. Sigimoloch got a little bit of love in Fallen Kingdom. Brachiosaurus got most of the love in Fallen Kingdom. Again, it became a character. It was meant to be the Brachiosaurus from the first film. The characterization of the dinosaurs rather than the predatory nature of them is kind of what's changed the focus a little bit. And is, if I'm honest, like people know I'm not a big fan of Jurassic World or Fallen Kingdom. That over-characterization of the dinosaurs and making them more of characters rather than actual predators and threatening creatures or majestic, beautiful creatures in the case of the Brachiosaurus or the Triceratops is one of my big problems with the franchise, actually. I could go on about this for a very, very long time. I'm not going to. There we go. We've seen some Dilophosaurus. That is... What is going on? What's wrong with you people? There's been a serious traffic jam somewhere. Oh, I guess they must have got stuck behind a dinosaur. Maybe the Triceratops? Yeah, well, yeah, must have been. Must have been behind the Triceratops. We actually have tons of vehicles out. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 tour vehicles going right now. John Hammond would be having the time of his bloody life. Why does that not go through there? It's very upsetting. John Hammond would be loving this. Absolutely loving it. It's nice that you get a cheeky little look as well, back in the Brachiosaurus enclosure and Parasaurolophus enclosure, before you swoop around here for the finish. I'm really excited to go on a full tour. We do have one more episode left. Like I said, we're going to do the Raptor Pen, we're going to do everything else, we're going to do the maintenance shed, we're going to try to rebuild that like the film, we're going to do the docks. Is that it? Docks, Raptor Pen, maintenance shed? Maybe some lights and stuff like that if we can get an idea. Maybe just dotted around these roads out here, stuff like that. General signs, blah, 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 blah. We're going to do all of that in the next video, and then on the video after that, we will do our full park tour. And of course, we're going to try to make that somewhat like the film, so we'll... I'm not going to go overboard making it like the film, but we will like make it nighttime and rainy for the T-Rex. Oh, so I forgot to do this. I will say... No, I do need to do it. Making it nighttime and rainy for the T-Rex and stuff like that. That's basically the... And for the Dilophosaurus as well. But, well, maybe not rainy. Rainy's a pain in the ass. You turn storms on in the game, I think one happens every 30 minutes, but you could wait 30 minutes. I'll do it for the Rex. I'm not sure about the Dilo. Anyways, this was a weird episode. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully I've not been smacked around by a copyright. We'll have to wait and see. What I could have done is put that video... Oh, I'm just going to do it. Right, we're going to take it over here, then you can't see it. I'm going to pause this, so there's no noise, and then if I play this, you should still be able to hear it. Not my favourite noises. That one's a pretty good one. The kind of purr noise that they do. It's interesting, I never actually noticed this as much, but I'm watching this thing, obviously, if you just Google Velociraptor noises, you'll end up on the same video. But as they're pointing out in the video, the same noises are actually used in the same situation quite often. Like this one, they're doing this. It seems to be like a shock attack, like a surprise attack kind of noise. That's like the angry, fuming noise. That may be purely coincidental. I like that noise, that's one of my favourites, that grunt, that... Yeah, and that one. So many good raptor noises, it's crazy. Yeah. Middle tier, that one, middle tier. That one's called J-Pock Attack. Oh. Sorry, it was the dead one from Lost World. No, copyright. There's a lot of that noise.
Been of interest. It certainly excites us as paleontologists. There is much more to discover, and that is why we continue to need and ask for your support. Thank you.
Those people leaving Alan Grant's conference should be ashamed of themselves. Anyways, hope this wasn't weird. I don't know, I just thought that'd be fun. Let me know what is your favourite raptor noise in the franchise. Maybe we'll look at the Rex in the next video, something like that. Until then, thank you very much for joining me. Like I said, in the next episode we're going to clean up the rest of the park, and then we'll do our tour. So, final building episode next video. I promise content will be a little more common. I looked at how much I've uploaded in February. I've done like 4 videos in 10 days. I've had a lot going on, and it's been a stressful couple of weeks, if I'm honest, but yeah, that's no excuses. It's my job, so I should do my job. So it should be less of a problem. And we will be starting our new Planet Zoo franchise this week as well. I know I've been slacking on that, so I will get on that ASAP as well, like a little break. Right, thank you for joining me. Cheers much love as always. Bye-bye. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to help support me a little bit more, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. There's a link in the description down below. Every little really does help in times like these, but it's not at all expected, and by just watching the video you've already helped me out massively, and it makes you a pretty cool person, so well done you. Thanks for joining me either way, I'll see you next time.